There is nothing better than working hard to collect some stone, perhaps even cutting down a tree, and then using those materials to construct a massive fortress that you can call home. In this video, we're taking a look at the best base building games. Enjoy. Number 1. Enshrouded. An open world survival game set in a mystical post-apocalyptic world shrouded in darkness, and you must navigate this dangerous environment, gather resources, craft items, and fight off threats. The game combines the element of fantasy and survival, offering a rich storyline and a vast open world to explore. And building in Enshrouded is a crucial aspect of the gameplay. It begins with the essentials. Gather resources like wood, stone, and other materials to create your first shelter. The game's building mechanics are intuitive, allowing you to place structures piece by piece. This includes foundation, walls, roofs, and defensive barriers. And then as you progress and gather more complex resources, you also unlock advanced building options and materials. The game also includes various functional elements such as crafting stations, storage units. The environment is dynamic with changing weather conditions and a day-night cycle, and you can spend countless hours perfecting your base, starting from a simple survival hut to a sprawling, well-defended fortress. And the complexity of your base can grow significantly as you gather more resources and unlock new construction recipes, providing a really deeply engaging gameplay that is very rewarding in terms of building. Number 2. Icarus. A survival game set on a terraformed alien planet. In this game, you need to survive in a hostile environment while completing various missions and objectives. You must also gather resources, craft tools and weapons, and then build shelters to withstand the planet's harsh weather and dangerous wildlife. And the game also features a rich crafting system, detailed environmental hazards, and a focus on multiplayer. Now, building an Icarus would start with basic gathering, wood, stone, and then constructing your first simple shelter. The building mechanics are quite intuitive and allows you to place foundations, walls, roof, and doors quite easily. But as you progress throughout the game, you'll unlock more advanced materials. This could be metal and concrete, and then you can really start going crazy. You can create more durable and intricate structures. And in Icarus, you can spend hundreds of hours perfecting and designing your base, both in terms of functionality but also aesthetics. And as you progress in the game itself with the missions, resources become more accessible. Base building becomes more complex. This could involve the construction of multi-story buildings and advanced crafting facilities. The dynamic weather and environmental challenges also add another layer of depth, requiring you to think ahead and adapt on the fly. But constructing a well-defended and efficient base is a very time-consuming process and will require a lot of trial and error and resource management. Number 3. Conan Exiles. An open-world survival game set in the brutal universe of Conan the Barbarian. And you play as an exile, and you are cast into a harsh environment, and you must then gather resources, build a shelter, and defend yourself against enemies. And the game has a big emphasis on survival, crafting, and combat, with a strong focus on the exploration and base building aspects. And with a rich lore and immersive environment, Conan offers a really engaging survival experience where you can build anything you want. And building is a core aspect of the game. You will start with gathering basic resources. This could be wood, stone, and fiber, and then construct your first simple shelter. And the building mechanics are quite easy to understand at first, as they are intuitive. And as you progress throughout the game, gather more resources, unlock more advanced buildings, you can then make iron and reinforced stone that allows you to create more durable and elaborate structures. The game also features extensive customization. This could include decorative elements, crafting stations, and defensive measures like traps and siege weapons. And constructing a really robust and beautiful base will take a lot of time, but it is essential to protect yourself from both the wildlife and other players. Number 4. Valheim. An open world survival game set in a vast, procedurally generated world inspired by the Vikings. And you set out to explore, gather resources, craft items, and then build structures to survive and thrive. The game will feature a mix of combat, exploration, and crafting, with a quite strong emphasis on base building and community. And the base building in Valheim is a key component. You'll start off with gathering basic materials, like wood and stone, to construct your first shelter. Now, in terms of the building, it will be quite confusing at the start, since Valheim features a very unique aspect in terms of building. The higher up you go, and the further away from the ground or foundation you go, the weaker the building gets. So at the start, when you only can build with wood, you start building basic shacks. But once you unlock stone and metal, you can start building pillars that supports as a foundation. There are of course also mods that completely remove this aspect, but it's one of the most unique base building mechanics that I've ever seen. And you can spend hundreds of hours perfecting your home, creating elaborate and aesthetically pleasing Viking longhouses. But building is not only for aesthetics. Once in a while, you'll get raided by enemies, and having a strong and secure base is essential. Number 5. Sons of the Forest. A first-person survival horror where you're plunged into a mysterious and dangerous island. You are a survivor of a helicopter crash, and you must navigate through a dense forest that is filled with terrifying creatures and hostile tribes. And the game emphasizes exploration, crafting, and combat, all set against the backdrop of a creepy world. And building in Sons of the Forest is a crucial part of the game. You'll start off with gathering essentials. This could be wood, stone, and other basic material. You can then chop down trees for logs and collect rocks from the ground. Using these resources, you can start constructing your base, and the building mechanics are quite intuitive and detailed. You begin by placing a blueprint, which will outline the structure you want to build. This could include basic shelters, walls, floors, and roofs. And as you progress throughout the game, you'll unlock more complex structures. This could be defensive walls, traps, and advanced shelters, all to protect yourself and your base. And the game allows for extensive customization. You can place doors, windows, and even furniture to make your base more functional and comfortable. And the building isn't just about putting up walls. You need to create a safe haven where you can store supplies, cook food, and plan your next move. As you continue to gather resources and expand your base, you'll also encounter more advanced building options. You can construct multi-story buildings, fortify your base with defensive spikes, and create pathways or bridges to navigate the terrain. The dynamic weather and day-night cycle will also add another layer of challenge, as you must ensure that your base is well lit, but most importantly, protected from the enemies. And the building a Sons of the Forest is quite time-consuming, but it's very rewarding. Number 6. Satisfactory. A first-person factory building game where you're stranded on an alien planet, and your goal is to explore, gather resources, and construct massive automated factories. And the game combines elements of exploration, crafting, and management, with a strong emphasis on optimizing product lines and logistics. The world is very open and expansive, filled with diverse biomes and challenging terrain, and you must build and expand an industrial empire. And the building is all about creating efficient and automated production lines. You start with basic resource gathering. You will use tools to collect raw materials like iron, copper, and limestone. And with these, you can then build simple structures like miners and smelters. And the game's building mechanics are highly detailed. You can place and connect various machines, conveyors, and pipelines to create a very complex production network. And it all starts with creating foundations and walls that help you organize your factory. And as you progress, you'll unlock more advanced technologies and materials, which allows you to construct more sophisticated and efficient factories and allow for extensive customization. And you can optimize every aspect of your production, anywhere from resource extraction to the final product assembly. And the game is all about experimenting, improving your designs, and building great factories. Now, the coolest thing is that as you advance throughout the game, you can automate every part of the factory. You can use splitters and mergers to manage resource flow and set up very complex logistic networks using truck, trains, and drones. But all of this is not free. You need to manage your power, so you have to set up a massive energy supply. This could be biomass burners at the start, and then coal plants, and then even nuclear reactors later on. And building a highly efficient and well-organized factory can take hundreds if not thousands of hours. But seeing your constructors growling and your conveyor belts rolling is truly satisfactory. Number 7. Rust. In Rust, you are dropped into a vast open world environment with a singular goal: to survive. You'll start off with just a rock and a torch, and you must then gather resources, craft tools, weapons, and build shelters, and defend off against other players, wildlife, and the environment. The game is also open-ended and has a strong emphasis on the player interaction and brutal survival experiences. And building is essential, both for protection but also for progress. You start by collecting basic materials like wood and stone, and then constructing your first simple shelter. The building mechanics are quite user-friendly, and you can design and upgrade your structures easily. And as you gather more resources, you can upgrade your base with stronger materials like metal and high quality stone to enhance the durability against attacks. And the building system includes various defensive features. This could be traps, turrets, and reinforced doors, which are all very essential for protecting your base from other players. You will also have to think smart. Strategic placement of walls, doors, creating airlocks, and hiding your expensive loot is a very important tactic. And raiding is a big aspect of Rust, and your base design will need to withstand these attacks. And you must constantly upgrade and repair your structure to defend off against other players. And while the base building in Rust is really fun, you have to understand the core element that in this game, base building and base raiding are essential. And you'll probably spend less time worrying about the aesthetics and more about the functionality and defensive aspects of it. And from my point of view, Rust is a game you either love or hate. Number 8. Stranded Deep, and you are thrust into the role of a plane crash survivor. Stranded in the Pacific Ocean, and you must navigate through procedurally generated islands, scavenge for resources, craft tools, and build shelters to stay alive. The game has a big emphasis on realistic survival mechanics. This includes hunger, thirst, and health, while also contending with the dangers of the ocean. This could be storms and sharks. And Stranded Deep is known for being beautiful but brutal, and building is a crucial aspect. You'll start gathering the essentials like wood, stone, and palm leaves to create your first shelter. And the building mechanics are quite straightforward, and initially your focus will be on simple shelters just to protect yourself from the elements and to have somewhere to store your supplies. But as you explore more islands and gather more rare resources, you can craft more advanced structures, including multi-story buildings and rafts. You can also create more functional items such as water stills, storage containers, and cooking stations, which are all very essential for survival. The dynamic environment, including changing weather and day-night cycle, requires you to be quite strategic in your building efforts, ensuring your shelters are durable and well placed to protect yourself against storms and other threats. And constructing a well-functioning and aesthetically pleasing base can take a lot of time and resources. There's there's also a good amount of customization that allows you to design and personalize your base. Number 9. Raft. You start adrift on a small wooden raft in the middle of the ocean, equipped only with a hook made of plastic. You must then gather debris floating in the water, and then craft tools, expand your raft, and survive the many dangers. And this game is hands down much better to play with friends, as you can work together, explore, build, all while managing your hunger, thirst, and health. And building is a big aspect of it. You need to expand your floating home and ensure your survival. And you use your plastic hook to collect materials like planks, plastic, and scrap. And these materials are crucial for crafting items and building up your raft. And the building mechanics are actually really intuitive and easy to learn. And initially, you'll focus mainly on expanding the raft to provide yourself more space for building and a bigger area to collect floating debris. But then as you progress, you can build more advanced structures, make your raft into a multi-story building with reinforced platforms and even complex machines like engines and steering wheels. The game also includes various functional elements. This could be a water purifier, a grill, a storage unit, which are all very necessary for meeting your basic survival needs. You can also build structures like nets that can pick up the debris automatically, making the resource gathering way more efficient. Building and customizing your raft to include everything you need for survival and exploration can be quite time consuming, but once you build up enough of these nets, you can go crazy with the building, and you can transform your simple raft into a robust floating fortress. Number 10. ARK Survival Evolved. Now, ARK is set in a prehistoric world filled with dinosaurs and other ancient creatures, and you find yourself stranded on an island where you must gather resources, craft tools, and build shelter. And the game has a big emphasis on exploration, taming and breeding dinosaurs, and co-op gameplay. You can form tribes and work together, which makes the game far more enjoyable. And building is a fundamental part of the gameplay. It's essential for protection, resource management, and long-term survival. And you'll start by gathering basic resources. This could be wood, thatch, and stone, and then constructing simple shelters. The building mechanics are very detailed and versatile. You can place foundation, walls, roofs, and gates to create various structures. And as you progress throughout the game, you'll unlock more advanced building materials. This could be metal or even tech gear. And the game features extensive customization and modding. You can design multi-story buildings and even very complex defensive systems. And you'll need to be strategic in placement of your walls, turrets, and traps to defend yourself against both wildlife and other players. However, do be warned, there are some massive tribes out there that will run around and simply raid or destroy any building they see, so you might want to consider playing on the private server or making your own for the start, as it can be quite soul destroying to have everything destroyed and your dinosaurs killed. Number 11. Astroneer. An open world space exploration game set in a very colorful procedurally generated universe, and you take on the role of an astronaut, and your goal is to explore alien planets, gather resources, and build bases to survive and thrive. And the game emphasizes creativity and exploration with a strong focus on terraforming and base building. And Astroneer is very unique and immersive with a vibrant art style, intuitive mechanics, and co-op multiplayer mode. And building an Astroneer starts with gathering basic resources. This could be compound resin to create essential structures and items. The build mechanics are quite intuitive, using a modular system that allows you to place platforms, storage units, and functional models. This could be a research chamber, smelters, and soil centrifuge. The terrain tool is also a key feature. You can manipulate the environment any way you see fit. You can add or remove terrain, create flat surfaces for building, or dig tunnels for protection. And the game has a ton of creative freedom, allowing you to shape the world to suit your needs. And as you explore and gather more resources, you'll unlock more advanced materials and technologies. This will allow you to expand and enhance your base with more sophisticated structures. And building and optimizing a base can take a lot of time, especially if you focus on function and aesthetics at the same time. The dynamic and open-ended nature of the game means that the base building can be as simple or as complex as you make it. Number 12. Oxygen Not Included. A colony simulation game where the goal is to ensure the survival of your colonists, and you do this by managing resources. This could be the oxygen, food, and water, while also dealing with environmental hazards. And the game will combine deep simulation mechanics with a charming art style, and every decision you make can have significant impact. And building is essential. You need to create a sustainable and thriving colony, and you'll start by digging into the asteroid to gather basic resources. This could be dirt, algae, and water. The building mechanics are very detailed and allows for extensive planning and customization. You can construct various structures. This could be a living quarters, research stations, farms, and bathrooms. The game also includes a wide range of functional systems. This could be power grids, plumbing, ventilation, and automated processes, which are all key components for maintaining the colony's infrastructure. And each building and system will need to be carefully managed, as you need to ensure efficiency and prevent problems like overheating, gas buildup, or resource supply issues. And as you progress, you'll unlock more advanced technologies, allowing you to build more complex and efficient systems, managing the balance between resource production and consumption, while keeping your colony happy and healthy. Building a well-organized and efficient colony can be very time time consuming, but it is deeply satisfying, and it is hands down an amazing game, and not just for the building mechanics. Now, if you found this review helpful and it gave you some insight, consider hitting the like button. It's free and it helps the channel out a ton. And if you want to see more game reviews, I highly recommend checking out the video on the screen now, and I'll see you in that video.